Hey guys, welcome to the Heart of David. Hope you guys are all doing well, wherever you are in the world. Today I want to talk about the silent genocide. The topic that I believe God wants every single Christian to speak about. I know this is a plan of the devil. It has to be. We have been so desensitized. You know what? I'll start this way. Growing up, you're taught certain things, right? We're taught, the type of Planned Parenthood type of stuff. This is the type of stuff that will get me shadow man, right? You grow up and you're taught certain things, and is what is happening right now in society, and has been probably since the 1950s and 60s, which is because of television, because of radio. Not so much radio, but even radio. People think that's so old, but they don't recognize still what it did to people. Desensitization through television, broadcasting. You see, what happens is when more people come together, like Babylon, I think, versus a singular place, like a town or a township or a small city or whatever it is, they have their own beliefs and laws and stuff like that. And it depends what country you live in and stuff, but it was certainly different back more than 50 years ago. But when people come together, they become desensitized. And it happens slowly over a period of time where you think it's normal. This is only the second time that I've brought up this subject ever. I made a video commenting on a man who, I don't know if he's a surgeon, I forget his exact position, but if I can see his name when I switch to another window, I'll say his name. Dr. Lev something. Something had happened to him. I believe like his daughter died, or someone in his family died, and anyways, he came to the realization of what he was doing. Pardon me a sec, guys. Something's stuck in my mouth. So I want you to realize just how serious this is. Growing up, what did they do? They teach us about birth control. And we're to think that that birth control is the right way. And it may seem so, right? But this isn't the way it was for all time. What does birth control do? So I just had to look it up. And listen, I've had girlfriends who were on birth control, okay? And I never truly knew. I just knew that the likelihood of having a child while having sex was extremely low. It says, yes, birth control pills prevent pregnancy by stopping ovulation, preventing sperm from joining with an egg, and thickening cervical mucus, and then it blocks the sperm from reaching the egg. Can you remember the part in the Bible where in the Old Testament where the brother spilled his seed and God killed him? Listen, I'm not implying anything, but I'm just remembering that comes to mind. I don't want to make this so much. I do want to make this about God, but I want to make this about doing the right thing. So when I grew up, and when you grew up, so how old are you? I'm 46. So I'm starting to get up there. I remember all the things they did in school. I remember them taking us. What class would that be? Not history, sociology, like some type of sociology class where they would take us out and they would show us. They brought us to a place where there were young mothers, okay, and it was a house that supported young women who had been abandoned by fathers, I believe, and were having a hard time. And this was one of those types of, like halfway homes, but for women with children to support them. And I think it's no different than when we're in junior high and high school. Like I certainly remember women who were girls, right? Girls who were 16 who got pregnant, and everyone's like, oh man, they ruined their life and all that. And I mean, when it comes to education, I guess they did kind of screw up, but it depends the way you look at it. I don't view it that way now. I wouldn't recommend it either. It's good to set yourself up first. Anyway, I don't want to get into that, but they're teaching us. It's like they're almost teaching us that it's not a good thing. And I can understand the point that they're coming from, like unprotected sex, or you don't want an unwanted pregnancy is what I mean. Someone gets drunk, impregnates someone, the woman doesn't want to give up the child, and when you really look at that now, those women are brave, man. Those women are brave for doing that. And man, when I think of that, a child, so she was 16 and I'm 46, their child could be 30 years old now. I can't imagine having a 30-year-old child. Yeah, so that just says how old I am now. So this is the way our society is right now, and has been since, I don't know the year. I'm just gonna take a stab, because I don't think it matters if a decade's missing. It's around the late 60s or 70s when, what was it? Was it Roe versus Wade or something? Let me see here. I'm just going to look up, when did abortion begin. I don't want to go into a different window because it might shut me off. But I'm going to keep listening because I'm going to get to some points. Abortion in Canada was formally banned in 1869. So I'm just looking here. So it was 68 to 69 legalized in Canada. Don't worry, I'll look at the USA too. 1969. And then the USA was 73, so Canada did this first. It seems Canada is more proactive in these matters than the US. You can just look at many things that Canada does. So in 73, the Supreme Court established the right to access abortion nationwide with landmark decision in the Roe versus Wade case. However, due to systemic racism, laws restricting access to abortion continue to target black people and other people of color. I do believe that. I just studied multiculturalism, and some of the stuff I read in there was things I would not have believed until you read them and study them. Give me a second. So how long ago was that? So it was about 40, 45 years ago. 40 or 45 years ago. And around the same time, what happened? I do believe North America was blessed by God. Even if they're seen as a beast right now, which they are, they're Babylon. I believe they were blessed because of all the Christians during that time and before then. But at the same time, you know, it's like, let's loosen the bonds of God, right? Let's legalize abortion and let's take away prayer because it's keeping people down. This is a plan of the devil. And then they normalize it in TV, commercials, and you know the rest. I self-studied World War II, so I understand some stats. The Japanese went into China and they killed 13 million people. Like brutally, more brutal than over in Europe. Then in Europe, they say it was 6 million Jews and 5 million others who I have suffered with a lot of pain today. They would probably kill me for that. I have autism, they kill me for that. Well, depending on how I'm functioning, right? Maybe they wouldn't know, but those numbers are actually probably maybe even double that. But when you look at those numbers and you know, it's perpetually talked about, which some should, but in any case, why is no one talking about all the children who have been killed since 1969, say 1970 to now? Let's just say 45 years. Yes, some people are talking about it, and there are people, you know, in Britain, I believe this is a law, and this is what made me want to do this today, that if you pray within a certain boundary of someone wanting an abortion, because they don't want you to go in and persuade their mind from saving their baby, which many would turn, they'll put you in jail just for praying. If they see you just like quietly, like, they will do it. I've seen it. Just think of how many babies have been, well, the West. It's not just North America, the whole West. So just in the West, how many children? I believe, I'm just going to leave it at what I know. I believe it's, 60 million, I think, children have been killed. How many abortions? Oh man, that can't be right. Okay, Canada since 69. Sorry, that's since, from then till now is 3.3 million. That's in Canada. That's called a genocide. So how many in the United States? I'm going to get pretty descriptive in a second. 60 million legal abortions since 1973, and I don't think that accounts for the ones that have been done on their own. That is 60 million murders. That's what it is. And I'll be the first to say this, that I understand through my own studies and through my own humanity that women who are raped and have a child or something like that, I still don't believe you should have an abortion. But who am I to, I can't really judge about that. I just know how God feels about murder. You know, if it's that bad, I just imagine, like, you know, give it up to a good family or something. Give the baby up to a good family. Some women choose to keep it. No, I cannot imagine that type of pain. I can't. And you know what? What I'm studying right after I get off this camera? Trauma, sexual abuse, and recovery. That is my course right now. So, like, I don't get it. Like, let me see here. People say that, no, you know, like, the child, it's not a child when it's in the womb like that. It's not a child. You know, like, here's the womb, okay? Here's the womb, and here's the you know what. So here's a child, right? Let's just say here's a child, and that's where it comes out. So when it's right here, it's not a living being, it's nothing. But the moment its leg or its head or whatever sticks out, it is. That's stupidity at its best. Why is there even an argument about that? So they're basing their argument off of a split second. Because their head is a centimeter out, it's a baby now. You know, like, so what do they do? Let me see if I can find something here. It's the best I have right in front of my face. Now, I suppose the babies can come out by their head or their legs. But I don't know exactly the positioning at all times. But this is all I know. I didn't look at it before here. Actually, you know what? Let's look at it. What position are babies in the womb? What position are babies before the most common and ideal position for a baby before birth is head down, face down, also known as cephalic presentation or occiput anterior presentation. So let me see the pictures here. The baby's head is directed toward the birth canal with the chin tucked to the chest. Okay, so yeah, positions generally facilitates a smoother vaginal delivery. Sorry. So I don't know if it turns around before birth. It matters to what I'm going to say here. In any case, this is what I know. What the description is when they do an abortion. And can you imagine a baby? I believe a baby is dreaming and listen, they're moving and doing all types of stuff. They're kicking. And Jeremiah, I knew you before you were in the womb. They're alive and you know it. And the stupid scientific debates are just pointless and you know it. So I don't know if I can position this right, but there it is. Let's just pretend this is the womb. They go up, they take clamps. So at the end of this, there are teeth on that, okay? There are really sharp teeth. The baby's up there. They go up and they cut the limbs, literally. They cut the limbs in pieces and pieces until it's all gone, until they can pull it out. And you're going to tell me that the baby doesn't feel a thing. This is what they say. So the stupidity of thinking that it doesn't. You're an idiot. Sorry, you're stupid. That's how I feel. Because if a baby comes out of the womb and it's crying, then it damn well does hurt when it's up there. This is what they're doing, and they can't even bring themselves to sedate and put out that baby before they kill it. They can't even do that. That's what's happening, and this is what they're doing. 60 million, and I bet the number is way higher. What is the worldwide number? $73 million. How do you think God looks at that? And he knows it's the West, and you look at what's happening to the world, to North America, you just see North America going downhill. And there's people who think that Donald Trump is bringing back some type of golden age. He's riding on a horse, and behind him is hell, I tell you. So just look at what's going on in the world. I think you understand the prophecies that are being fulfilled and about to be fulfilled. Did you hear what's happening with the sun? Really, a lot of people are talking about this. I could see, and I wondered, where I am, the power doesn't really go out all that often, but I could see throughout the day the lights dimming on, dimming off, dimming on, and when I realized that this is going on, we're having very, very powerful flares, and it makes me wonder about all the volcanoes and all that going around, because it's magnetic, right? It's magnetic. This is what I believe, like, it's Jesus Christ. He's going to come. He's going to punish all those who do all this stuff. I'm not saying if you have been involved in abortion, because think of how many people have, right? But if you've come to faith, you know, anyways, people are going to be judged for doing this. People in high places and that type of thing. Listen, can you just imagine? Those babies can't speak for themselves, and I believe in all my heart that every single one of those babies we are going to see in the kingdom of heaven. We're going to see in the kingdom of heaven. Just, that's it. God bless, guys.